my baby alpacas, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here today, my name is Mystique and welcome to the magical rainbow alpaca. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about how to shift your self-concept to be more positive. Over the past 2 years, I have been on this journey myself. And especially within the past 2 months, I would say building up my own self-concept to be more positive has been the prime focus of my healing journey. So I am no stranger to having to do this, and I thought I would share some of my techniques that I've been using to help rebuild my self-concept to be in a much more positive place. I just want to kind of talk about a little bit of how much I have shifted my own self-concept, just to give you a little bit of perspective. So 2 years ago is when I started my own healing journey. At that time, my self-esteem was absolutely trash. I literally thought I was inadequate of doing anything right. I had had so many feelings of inadequacy confirmed throughout my life that it became a buildup of that. And whenever I tried to attempt something new, I would just have a major breakdown because I thought I would never be able to do anything right. So I literally had no belief in myself whatsoever when it came to doing anything. And I saw myself in such a poor light, and I compared myself to everybody because I thought I was inadequate to everybody on the face of the planet, basically. Basically everything I did and how I reacted to anything in my life was all based off of these inadequate feelings I had within me and a whole bunch of limiting beliefs that I had about myself. And now, 2 years later, I can proudly say I am so far from being that insecure person with such a poor self-esteem, and I know that I am much more capable of doing things than I used to think I was able to do. So I am the living proof that this is possible to do. It does take time, I will say that, but when things are said and done, it is worth it in the end. After all of this hard work, I would never want to have things happen any other way. And now I am this person who is much more confident in myself, much more self-assured, and I have a much higher self-esteem. So I often find that when I used to drag people down so I wouldn't feel as inadequate to them anymore, I find that I don't do that anymore. I mean, not as much. We are still all human, and some limiting beliefs are definitely still in there, and my healing journey definitely isn't over yet, but we've made a lot of progress since 2 years ago. So I quickly want to talk about why poor concept happens, or why people can end up with a poor self-esteem. The reason why this happens is because of feelings of inadequacy that build up over our lives. It's times where we are made to feel inadequate over and over and over, and we don't get emotional support to work through those feelings. Because we don't get that support that we needed to work through those feelings, they build up and they get stuck within our body, and then they stay there until they get released, and sometimes they never get released. When these emotions stay there, it causes us to become reactive whenever we have a situation that triggers us or is very, very similar to an experience where we were made to feel inadequate. So when we have a buildup of these experiences without emotional support to work through it, it drags down our self-concept and makes us believe that we are completely inadequate. So in order to get here, I've had to use several things, and I swear by these things. These literally have transformed me. They have transformed me from being person A to person B. I literally don't think I am the same person. When you are more sure of yourself, you think differently, you act differently, you're less anxious as a person. So these are some of the things that I have used to help shift my self-concept And if you use these, you will definitely be able to shift your self-concept from being not so ideal to being into a place where you are sure of yourself. So first off, I want you to embrace all of your insecurities. So what I want you to do is grab a pencil and paper and write down everything that you are insecure about. The reason why this is important is because you are going to start feeling all of these uncomfortable feelings. That is very, very, very important for this task. Is that the main thing you're gonna focus on is those feelings. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about all the things that you're insecure about. I want you to address all of these uncomfortable emotions that are going to be popping up while you're writing down all of these. When you are done writing down all your insecurities, make sure they're in like a list formation so that you have like a little bit of space right beside them.
So while I was editing this video, I realized that I didn't get into why you should be doing this. Is because I want you to write down in detail of why you feel insecure about what you've written down. And then if you can dig deeper into another why regarding what you've just written down, then you may be able to get an even deeper answer as to why you are feeling insecure about what you've written down. It's pretty enlightening to see all the things that you're feeling regarding your insecurities.
Oftentimes, you are going to find out that most of the things that you're insecure about is because you feel like they are inadequate. When you are writing these things down, once you get to that place of, this is actually why I feel insecure about this, is I want you to embrace the feelings that go with it. When you are feeling these emotions, I want you to actually name the emotion that you're feeling, because in order to heal it, you have to state the name of what you're feeling. You gotta name it to tame it. And once you start naming those emotions, once you start feeling those emotions, they should begin to release. And that's the main thing we're wanting here. When you start to release all of these negative emotions that are stuck within your body, it leaves room for you to build your self-concept. The way to start building a self-concept is to start demoing your old one. So it's basically like we're taking a wrecking ball to your old self-concept so that we can rebuild. In the process of knocking down your old self-concept, you're going to have to embrace uncomfortable emotions. So once you've felt those negative emotions release, I want you to start telling yourself that these things are actually adequate. And you can say this in a variety of different ways. I often say it in many different ways so that it can really start to, I like to call it as like, it's like laying bricks down. So it's like one saying is one brick, another saying is another brick, another saying of the same thing of those other two is another brick. And the more positive things you are able to say to yourself, you're going to start building a foundation for your more positive self-concept. So the people who have a very positive self-concept are full of positive beliefs within their subconscious mind. So how do you think they got there? They either came from parents when they were children or teachers when they were children. It could be from themselves. If you grow up with a very supportive environment, you are going to have more positive beliefs within your subconscious mind than someone who didn't grow up in an as supportive family environment. So oftentimes, people who grew up in a more abusive family environment are going to have a more poor self-esteem or a poor self-concept. And that doesn't mean that it can't be fixed. Because look at me, I literally had like the poorest self-esteem you could probably imagine. I had breakdowns during school because I literally thought that I would fail everything and I wouldn't be able to do anything right. And I just felt so much pressure from that. And now I'm in a place where I rarely get anxious anymore, and it's great. Even if you do grow up in an environment that is on the abusive side of the spectrum, you are not lost. There is still hope for you. you. But I digress. So when you're telling yourself that these things are adequate, I actually want you to imagine as if this thing was adequate. Like, how would that feel? It's kind of like playing some pretend. What this will do is this will actually start to create that sense within you. You know that whole saying, fake it till you make it? It's all because of the energy that you create. So by you just imagining what it would feel like that whatever you're insecure about isn't inadequate, and it is actually adequate, then you're actually going to start creating that energy within you. If you keep on doing that, after time, that will be your reality and you'll no longer have to fake it. So now I want you to forgive all your inadequacies. I just want you to try to forgive that is there. If you're really struggling with this step, you can just start by going to a mirror and saying you forgive yourself for your inadequacies. This is a very powerful technique because you are looking into the windows of your soul. And this kind of has some reprogramming effect. Eventually, after some time, you will find that you will be able to forgive yourself for the things that you thought you weren't able to forgive yourself for. And lastly, I want to say that how you talk to yourself is very, very, very important. When you are so critical of yourself, that is just going to drag down your self-concept even more. So the best thing to do is to try and work on talking to yourself in a more positive light. That just means like be more gentle with how you talk to yourself. Say you forgot something. You know what? You're not stupid. This is the number one thing I hate when people say is that when they call themselves stupid. No, you're not stupid. The human brain isn't capable of being perfect. So if you forget things from time to time, it's okay. It's just part of the human brain being the human brain. Like, the human brain has so much going on all the time. Like, it's not your fault that you didn't remember to grab something on your way out of the house. It just happens. You are not stupid. That is something that you need to stop telling yourself if you do. But there's so many different ways for you to be negative towards yourself. Whenever you find yourself being negative to yourself, just stop and just sit there and be like, you know what? Let's just not be negative to myself. And then try to think about it in a more positive light. And when you're doing that, you're reconstructing neural pathways in your brain. And if you keep on doing this, this will change how you think in the long run. But yeah, how you talk to yourself is so important when it comes to self-concept. When you have a positive self-concept, usually you are your own best friend. I know for me that I see myself as my best friend. That's probably going to be the major one that will change your life. But yeah, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you're not yet a baby alpaca, click that subscribe button just down there to join the baby alpaca family. I love you all so much. Until next time, bye!